Beautiful collective. How is it going today? Hope you're having an amazing day today. I'm having a good day. I am pretty excited as usual for today's reading. And that's just because I love what I do and I love being in service to humanity as well. So, to myself, of course. But yeah, today, as I was preparing for this reading, a lot was coming through in the energy as well as the type of reading. I've switched out a bunch of my cards based on the energy that was coming through. So, yeah, we're gonna do a divine or a sacred feminine reading today. Now, it doesn't matter if you are a man or a woman, we all have this divine feminine within us. And because we have been asked to forgive and to not only forgive ourselves, but forgive those who have created pain in our lives, it's really important that we tap into the divine feminine aspects of ourselves at this time in order to facilitate that. And so that was the energy that was really coming through. And so we're going to do some work with that energy today, very specifically. As you can see, I've already brought in some more feminine qualities, such as rose petals and an offering here in my selenite crescent moon. So that's like rose petals and chocolate and grains. And I have pulled out some cards that resonate with the divine feminine energy specifically. Now, just to warn you, I do have this one deck here off to the side, and I can't show most of the images because most of them are naked women. And some people are offended by that, by nudity, and I totally respect where you're at. However, it is actually such a beautiful deck. So if you are someone who resonates as feminine, this might be a deck that you would want to look up at least online and check it out. It's called the Sacred Cycles Oracle. I can't even show you the guidebook or the box because again, it has nudity on it, but and if it is reported, of course, they're going to flag my channel and block things from coming through. So I've got this little container here of rose petals, and I've also got a box of crystals. So hopefully I can cover up the images and still use the deck because that energy in that deck was screaming to be put into this reading today. And I've also got a goddess deck out here that we're going to be pulling on to help facilitate with that energy. Okay. So with any kind of reading, of course, use your discernment. If it is not for you, you're going to get some sort of indication. If you're not sure if that is part of your reading, you can reflect on that after the reading or even pause it for a moment. These are ways of strengthening your intuition, which is really imperative. And it's also part of the divine feminine quality within you. So that is also why I have this moon deck also has a crescent moon, and I've got this crescent moon brought in, and I'm wearing jewelry that is, sparkly and jewels, jewel filled, because we're tapping into this feminine energy, which is representative of, emotion and love and healing and creativity and the creative life force energy. And the moon often represents the energy of feminine. So yeah, I'm just bringing in a bunch of elements that are representative of that to bring in the energy. I have already called in the goddess energy. I've also called in the energy of Gaia, who is the spirit who presides over the earth, who's been caretaking the earth up until this point, where she's actually starting to navigate now away from the earth, which is why we're seeing a lot of disruptions in the earth, in the atmosphere, in natural disasters, and things like that. So, human beings are being tasked with the um, obligations and responsibilities to take care of the planet now. And that is, I'm sure that Gaia is very tired. She's been here a long time presiding over the earth. But while she is here, I have called in her energy. I've also called in the divine feminine and the sacred feminine energies of the earth, as well as your guardian angels, and of course, my spirit team. But I've also called on um, Archangel Metatron and Gabriel, who are my normals that I work with. But today, because we're dealing with a specific type of frequency and energy, pardon me, I've also called on Archangel Raphael to preside over my heart chakra and that loving energy which allows us to forgive, to have compassion, and to access higher states of perception and understanding, and so much more, right? Anything to do with the loving energies rather than the fearful energies. So, yeah, today should be a great and interesting reading. Um, I'm stoked. I am. I mean, it takes more work to have to switch out all your decks and do different things all the time, but I like to go with the flow of the energy and see what's coming through each day and allow that to transpire because that's going to be the most impactful, and it's clearly what the collective at this time is asking for. Yeah, so let's get started. I will just clear the space with my bell, which you will not hear because my camera cuts it out. Okay, so I was told immediately when I sat down before recording that we're going to be pulling some of these goddess guidance oracles first. See which see which goddesses are assisting us at this time or would like to come through and assist us to give you an awareness of who's coming through. I have pre-shuffled all these cards, but again, I go based on intuition and what feels right. All right, spirit goddesses. Which goddesses are coming through for the collective to help in the healing process and forgiving, letting go of emotional burdens and emotional pain at this time? That one. Stand up for these cards because they're big. It's easier to shuffle. I'm sitting at a bar table and I'm actually quite short, so it puts me at a little bit of a disadvantage when with these bigger cards. But I can navigate around that. Any more goddesses? Okay. I'm hearing five, so there's one more. There she is. I thought so because she kept coming out when I was pre-shuffling. She was often seen, even at the bottom of the deck. Okay, so we're going to take them in order. So we have Irene, peace. There is no need to worry as everything is working out beautifully. I'm just going to keep it like this until I have channeled through here a little bit more. Sedna, infinite supply. You are supplied for today and all of your tomorrows. And then we have Vesta, home. Your household situation is improving either through a move or a healthy change in the occupants. And then we have, it's either Siggy, because this is not an actual English name, so I'm not sure if it's Siggy, because I think this one is, if I'm not mistaken, Celtic, but it could be wrong. It could be Sige. I'm not sure. You'll have to look that up. It says quiet time. Take some quiet time alone to rest, meditate, and contemplate. And again, that is a feminine energy thing to do. Meditation, tapping into the divine feminine, your intuition, resting, taking time to take care of yourself, contemplation. Those are all things tapping into the divine feminine. And then Isold. Say it however you like. Undying love. The love you have shared is eternal, regardless of the situation. And given that, we're being asked as a collective to really forgive, it makes sense that she would come through today. Okay, so we've got our goddesses, but I am going to channel a little bit about what is coming through here after I sit down as a whole. And then we'll get more specifically into messages from each one, okay? So, goddesses and Holy Spirit, what is it that you would like me to channel through at this time for the collective's highest and greatest good? Hmm. Okay, so what I'm hearing is that there has been a lot of concern with regards to letting go of something. This could be letting go of money or something that you feel is affecting your stability. This could be letting go of a person, a pattern, but giving that, we're being asked to forgive. That is the underlying thing right now going on in the collective. It's a big energy around forgiving ourselves and others in our past. And that's why this undying love has come through, right? But whatever it is that has been coming through, um, you've had this idea, which may be skewed because there are other things happening in your 3D reality, which are causing instability, which are causing you to maybe go into a state of doubt. Maybe you've experienced a lot of things that have been um, crushing in a lot of ways to your hope, to your belief, to your trust, to your faith. And this could be regarding your stability around your home. This could be regarding your stability period, or even your ability to create or manifest something beautiful for yourself because of the past experiences. And so these past experiences are the things that are currently affecting you and your decisions or your thought patterns um, and creating worry, creating instability emotionally. And what you're being asked is to do is to take some time out and to really identify whether or not these are coming from wounded parts of you or your past situations that you've experienced, and to really bring love into the situation. And now, again, that means that we have to compassionately accept the parts of us that are still feeling that hurt. And that's a part of the forgiveness process, right? To really compassionately look at those parts of ourselves, where they came from, how they ended up creating this part of our own identity or our own ego, which is trying to always protect us from harm. So if you have allowed yourself to hope in the past, and every time that you hoped for something or you tried to create something better for yourself, either you took yourself down mentally or emotionally, or you allowed somebody into your life or a situation. You took on a situation and you settled for less than what you deserve, and it ended up crushing your spirit. This is kind of the thing that is coming through right now, that would potentially make it really difficult for you to not only forgive, but to have hope for the future, to have hope or trust that something can actually formulate, or to trust yourself to be able to manifest something better for yourself than what cycles you've been in, over the last however long you've been alive. And so Irene is really coming through with this desire for you to bring peace into your life. And bringing peace into your life may require you to surrender something. It may require you to surrender your dependence or reliance on someone or something. Pardon me. It may require you to surrender old ways of thinking or old behaviors or established patterns. It may be asking you to release your your old programming or your old beliefs about what's possible. And so Sedna comes through with this infinite supply to say, like, hey, you don't need to worry about that. Give yourself to the divine. And the way to give yourself to the divine is to understand that all of your needs, or at least reprogram your mind and your thoughts to understand that all of your needs can be met by the universe. But you have to surrender the old ways or the past version of yourself in order to achieve that, because that past version of yourself is always going to limit you, is always going to take you down to a place of worry, right? To a place of lack, to a place of feeling insecure, or um, to a place where you're feeling even material insecurity, right? So, what they're trying to say with Vesta and home is that your stability, or for some of you, this may even be moving out of a home that is not healthy for you, an environment that is not healthy for you, or even moving to a different city. But this can also just be reflective of your material stability. So if you've been worrying and not having or holding that hope, allowing chaos, whether that's, through your own thoughts and emotions or your doubt of the situation, whether it's through that or whether it is through allowing chaotic people or situations into your life, that, so long as you're clearing all of the chaos out and you're working with yourself step by step, anytime that you catch yourself slipping, re-regulate your nervous system or do some deep breathing or take some quiet time, right? To contemplate whether that's coming from fear or from love, and if that pattern is something that is going to benefit your future self, to align you with your future self, or if it's going to keep you stuck, right? Because the world is offering up, the universe and source is offering up this infinite supply, energy, resources, emotional resources, physical resources, your soul tribe, abundance, stability, but you have to believe in it and you have to trust. But it, again, it requires you taking time out each time these little voices pop up in your head. I see quiet time, and she's putting the finger over her mouth, right? Going, shh. And that to me says that it's time to quiet down the inner critic within you and allow that part of you to be laid to rest in the past by working steadfastly with it and applying love to that situation that caused this part of you to be formulated, to be formed and created within you. So it's about catching yourself in those moments and returning back to faith and trust. And one of the affirmations that's coming through for me right now to share with you is um, Source provides all of my needs now. Source provides for all of my needs now. Maybe just saying that every time that this inner critic or the part of your ego that is trying to protect you and trying to hold you back from actually, it's trying to protect you, but it's actually holding you back from allowing yourself to have hope, allowing yourself to feel joy, allowing your heart to open and apply love to each of these situations that comes forward, as well as allowing yourself to bring those barriers down around your heart which are preventing you from forgiving and letting go. All of these aspects of yourself are being asked to be respected because it was a part of what created who you are currently. It is a part of what has shaped you, but it's also hindering you from elevating to those higher degrees of happiness and joy um, and infinite abundance, right? Pardon me. So, what you're being asked to do is to let go of anything and everything that is causing you to not find the peace in your life and to reiterate to yourself with love the stability that you're creating for yourself, the stability and the infinite abundance that is already available to you that you might have been blocking because you're allowing your inner critic to come through and to silence you and to prevent you from getting your hopes up because of a fear of being crushed or a fear of being hurt. And this is just a wounded part of you that has experienced possibly quite a lot of difficulty, which has created this wound to begin with. And you have so much love within you to share with the world that in order to really align with this prosperity, you have to see that this is already here. It's already existing. You've already manifested it. You've already done all of this work. Pardon me. I ate some gluten yesterday accidentally. It was in a sauce that was covering a meat that I bought. And so you're going to hear me clear my throat a lot today, but I have an issue with gluten. I have the celiac gene, so it's lowered my immune system. Anyhow, so you have all of this love within you, and you're being asked now to compassionately open your heart to faith and trust and love and hope, and that you are already being infinitely supplied with the resources and the assets and material security that you already need. It's just you who's having troubles believing it. And so part of this is not only about quieting our inner critic, but healing the wounds that don't allow us to forgive others or to let go, because it's these constant barrages of negative emotions or stories that keep coming forward that don't allow us to apply love to all of our lives. And so this card right here at the end, this undying love, is really speaking to your love being eternal, but also a flame that can't be put out, like an eternal flame. And so, regardless of what you've experienced here on the earth plane, regardless of how much pain or suffering or enduring or surviving you've done here, no matter what a person has done or wants to try to do to you, to your body, it's only affecting you on a surface level. And that's really hard for the mind to wrap around that idea, that concept, that nothing can touch your soul. Your soul is pure. Your heart and your love is pure. And there is nothing that can happen to you in any lifetime that can touch that part of your soul, that can touch your soul, because it is pure love. And perhaps it is this concept, this perception of the soul and love being needing to be divided from the experience itself in this human realm, in the 3D, in order for you to access that higher degree of love and compassion. Maybe it is this division that helps you to reach into it and to tap into that love, that eternal love, that flame within you that never goes out, in order to fully surrender the story, surrender the hurt, surrender the pain, um, and to gain a higher perspective on, I guess what I'm hearing is gain a higher perspective on the pain that all of humanity has experienced and the diversification in not only the experiences that each person has experienced, which has created them, not just us, but others, but the diversification in their own genetics, which may predispose them to being a certain way, or um, generational patterns of ABUSE, which predispose a person, especially those who already have genetic predisposition to specific underlying conditions, to be certain ways and to try to find compassion for humanity as a whole, rather than maybe a specific person who whom you're trying to forgive, but to tap into that the depths of humanity as a whole and the pain and the suffering that humanity has experienced as a whole, in order to identify that feeling, that true empathy and compassion, and that true love for the overall experience of humanity, which you can then start to forgive that or take those emotions and run with it to a specific person. Hopefully that helps um, generate the feelings that you may need in order to apply that in more of more narrowed, specific person or direction, or to your past. Sometimes it's hard to access those feelings. Sometimes there's so much hurt and pain underlying them that even just expressing the pain itself is not enough, right? expressing your side, like if you haven't gotten closure with people, and you never will with a lot of them, then, part of that may be good to write a letter and burn it after you say it out loud to them, so that you can get your side of your feelings out. Or perhaps the chair technique, which is when you sit across the table from somebody or on your couch. You can use a pillow to represent that person, and you express all of the things that you never got to express, or that perhaps would have been impossible because the person might have been very destructive in return. You get a chance to say your part and to let it out and to feel the emotions that come with that without restraining any of those emotions, including anger, whatever it is that's inside of you. But then there's the other half of the forgiveness, and that is that we need to tap into that deep reserve of empathy, compassion, understanding for the human condition, and that it is a broad blanket understanding and compassion and love for all of humanity, because we are all on a path and we've all experienced the depths of the emotions that Earth School has to offer. So it's really important that we tap into that reserve, understand that nobody's path is easy. And it doesn't matter what it looks like to you on the outside. Most of every person on this planet is wearing a mask. And so, unless you have the hyper capability of hyper discernment, or you're tapped into your intuition really strongly, or you have the ability to read people very well and see beyond that mask, then it becomes really difficult to see that. And people will put on a show for you. They will pretend or even go out of their way to look like their life is improving and good, but you have no idea what's going on in their lives. You have no idea what kind of thoughts and emotions are constantly reeling through their head, or the guilt and the shame or the pain that they're carrying. Even the people who have caused us harm and pain. So you have to ask yourself, where does this come from? And how can I forgive? Maybe not specifically all of the incidents. I wouldn't tap into each incident, but instead, more broadly, apply love, compassion, and understanding to the person, to the situation, by tapping into that broader understanding of the human condition, and that we're all experiencing karmic cycles of pain, each one of us. And that's how we find this unification between us. And that's how we can actually forgive each other and forgive ourselves for what we don't know and what we didn't know at the time. That's how we can forgive others for what they don't know. They don't know the true impact, they don't know the true meaning. And even if they're well versed educationally in spirituality, unless they are living the experiences and going through this journey of waking up to oneself, there is no way that they can take the experience and the wisdom to create, or the experience and the knowledge to create wisdom. They've only got one small portion of the story, and that's not going to be accurate. It's going to be their perception of the world based on just words. Words have no meaning without them being backed up with action. And so, understanding that People can only perceive the world, the spiritual realm, as well as you, as far as they have met themselves. That helps you to find that compassion and that love. That was a lot of, I do a lot of channeling, just so you know. So oftentimes you'll see less cards pulled because I am a channel. I am a psychic medium. And so a lot of channeling comes through with my messages. And I am learning, well, I'm going to be learning more about tarot. I would like to bring tarot into this at some point, but it's going to require me to learn a lot more. There's so much to learn about tarot where before I'm going to feel comfortable doing it, right? So I'm going to get this one deck that will actually allow me to see some of the, like it'll have cheats on it, right? It'll have them right on the card rather than me having to pull out the book. And that'll help me to, it's a beginner's deck, help me to learn more about it as I'm doing the readings and the messages. So I might bring those into it, but I haven't gotten that deck yet. So just so you know. But I am a channel, so I do bring through a lot of messages that way rather than the cards. The cards are just fun little um, mm, I guess they're like little starters for the messages, or sometimes their pictures offer a lot of information as well. So I do like to use pictures as I channel. But yeah, every day is different. So yeah. All right, Spirit, where do we go next? Okay. So I'm hearing that each goddess has some messages to bring through. So we're going to go with this deck, and I'll do my best to cover everything up. All right, Goddess Irene, what messages would you like to impart on the collective with regards to healing and forgiving and finding acceptance and love? There it is. Okay, so this one's called ovulation. So I can show you this part of the card. I have to cover up other parts. And the feeling of this deck is awesome. It's not sticky. The cards move really nicely. Yeah, I really like this card, or these cards. Okay, let's see here. Let's see little ones. Little crystals. Actually, I'm just gonna put that there. Um, Sorry, I forgot to change these around for you. I like to look at them while I'm channeling, so put that in a moment. Okay, so we're gonna get one of these. And oh, do you want all of these cards? And then we've got Spirit of Life, Spirit of Love, Life Source. Spirit of Life says, remember you are never alone. The Spirit of Life is with you. The world takes care of you. Allow yourself to rest in the realization and feel the lightness in you. Spirit of Love, don't search for true love, for it will find you if you just hold on to who you are. The world already loves your essence, so don't change it for anyone. Okay, and then we have Life Source. When life comes to a standstill, turn inward and focus on joy and excitement. Your inner light keeps everything alive and moving. Yeah, and you can see, Irene is um, what's that? Holding a bag with grapes and corn, like corn cobs, and she's holding a baby and she's behind or in front of the water with dolphins. Pardon me. And then we've got this ovulation card, right? Pardon me. And life source, the spirit of love, spirit of life. So what this is telling me is that there's a lot of representations of the energy of birth, of creation, of creativity, of when we're talking about divine feminine energy, peace is at the core of that, right? Finding peace within one's life, and allowing ourselves to tap into the flow of our own natural essence, right? Because that is a divine feminine quality, is that we learn that we don't have to, in all situations, again, whether you're a man or you're a woman or you identify as that, there are moments in your life where it is time to take action and pursue things. And there are moments in your life where you need to be more in the flow. And so, if you're a divine feminine, you are more, you're supposed to be more out of the action and more in the flow of life, in the flow of creation, because we are the ones who create the babies, right? We are the master creators. And that does not mean that men don't create, right? I'm just saying that we give birth to new things. And this ovulation here tells me that there is an energy of needing to be more in this peaceful realm, in this tranquility, in this energy of love and peace, because you are currently in the process of formulating what this new life looks like for you, what this new energy, like how to embody it. That's it. Thank you, Spirit. How to embody the process and to embody the energy of peace. So what this is telling me, what I'm hearing, is that it's about um, you're now integrating this aspect of yourself within you. And so allowing rather than forcing, and opening up rather than having walls up and barriers, is allowing you to find that peace within yourself, to find that tranquility, to find balance. You can see that this woman here, this goddess, is holding a baby and she's holding food. And there is a balance needed in order to do both. If you're a mother, if you've ever had a baby, especially a little bit older baby, you know that if you're carrying something in your left hand, like groceries, and you're carrying your baby in your other hand, balance and awareness is required. And a level of peace within your energy is also required. And in order to not upset the baby, right? While you're maybe getting all your groceries out of the vehicle in a rush. You don't want to be in a rush. You want to bring yourself back to center. And so I'm seeing here that you're in the process at this time of um, maybe reformulating even what that what that would feel like, embodying those aspects of the divine feminine, what that looks like when applied to your future. And if you're not doing that, then that's what you're being asked to do with Irene here, is to figure out what that piece would look like in every section, in every piece of your own life going forward. And how can you implement peace into your life? So that's within relationships, within career, identifying, also I just heard, wow, identifying the parts of your life that you feel like they can't be changed, but you wish they could. And they're saying that they can be changed. And now, while you're in the ovulation period of this um, section of your journey, it's really important to identify those things that are still causing you friction, that you don't enjoy, that you wish could be different. Um, like I'm hearing visualize what it would be like to live differently. And if there's some aspect of that also that you're like, yeah, I tried that out in my vision and I didn't really like that part of it, change it. Now is the time. And bringing in this spirit, this energy of love, understanding that you by tapping into this divine feminine quality, you're tapping into the life source of everything. You're tapping into Mother Gaia. You're tapping into the earth. You're tapping into the elements, right? You're tapping into the creative life force energy and the creation that exists within you. And so, oh, I just got goosebumps. So, what I'm hearing is that. Um, you're receiving help right now to manifest something, and you're receiving so much help right now to manifest what it is you truly desire. So be very clear about what you want and what you don't want. And if something is not looking or feeling peaceful in your life, if it's not your ideal, then say no to that and change that vision now, because you are bringing forth the manifestations that you are thinking about, but you may not enjoy them when they come forward if all of these details haven't been felt out or envisioned or worked out. But because you're tapping into this frequency, this life source energy, it does require faith, it does require alignment, it does require hope, but most of all, Irene says it requires peace to enter every aspect of yourself in your life. And if something doesn't make you happy anymore, it is okay to change that. It's okay to change because you deserve happiness in your life and you deserve peace in your life. However that looks, don't be afraid to let it go. Don't be afraid to change your vision. If you had a vision for the future that you now suddenly have realized that it no longer applies to you, then it's okay to change that. If something else is going to make you happier and you can see yourself living that way for the rest of your life, or at least for an extended period of time, and that will bring you immense joy, pursue that. You've got help right now on the other side who's trying to bring this forward. This could be even Irene trying to bring this forward into your life, but you really have to be clear about your intentions because you can't bring any negativity into the next part of your life journey, into your new beginning, right? We talked about that yesterday. Three is a crowd. Or was that, yeah, I guess yesterday you watched the second half of that video. Three is a crowd. But this new phase you're entering into is about peace. It's about your happiness. It's about all your dreams coming true. But feeling as though you can balance it, you deserve that, right? That's another thing is you need to allow your inner light to actually shine through and quiet down those parts of yourself with love, passion, and healing. Quiet those parts of yourself that are creating the doubt. And you have to also accept that your life can change, but it's up to you, right? Nobody's going to do the work for you either. I just heard you have to go in and you have to Keep up on yourself. Keep up on whatever's coming up. Keep up on the consistency of practicing letting go with intentional purpose. And it's not just letting go of people or the hurt or the pain, it's letting go of preconceived notions and ideas of how the world operates. Okay, so switch all these around. And I'm going to slide these lovely ladies underneath Irene. I'm sure Irene won't mind. Oops. Okay. You know what? I have been doing a lot of really long readings lately, so big messages being channeled through. This will probably be a two-parter again, but that's okay. All right, Sedna, infinite supply. Beautiful Sedna. What is it that you would like to say to the collective at this time regarding infinite supply and any burdens that they may be carrying at this time, making it difficult for them to believe? Okay, we've got two cards here. Oh, we've got three cards. I'm going to see if we need them all. Not done. Oh, oh, okay. Sorry, I misheard. All right, Spirit. So we've got Mother, and I will just tell you what the card looks like. Or can I cover that up? I'll have to cover up the baby. Is a mother breastfeeding her baby? Okay. There. Okay, and then I don't know if I can even say that word on YouTube. Let's see here. So I'm just going to show the word. If that is offensive to you, then I'm not going to apologize, but it is a natural part of creation and a natural part of our human existence. Okay, so that is the card. And then we have bear, and I can show you this card. There's no nudity on it. Aren't these cards beautiful? Like they're stunning to me. I don't know. So earthy too, which is, definitely a goddess vibe. Okay, and then which deck would you like me to pull on in conjunction with the Sedna? Okay. Nope. Okay, do you want me to take all of these cards? I'm hearing top. Okay. Okay. So let's see here. Channeling Sedna. Mm. Okay, so the first thing that Sedna is bringing through is, you have to realize your own divinity and your own creative ability. So, what again, we talked about that previously, what was blocking you, some of the experiences that we have sometimes create these massive blocks that prevent us from believing in our ability to create. And whether you have had children or not, there is a lot coming through with the joy of creation, right? The bond that you create with yourself. And I see this baby here. It's not just this bond that we create with our own families as mothers, if you are a mother, but it's representative of this bond, this eternal bond within ourselves to the divine, to our inner child, um, and to our innocence, right? And so Sedna is really saying, like, in order to tap into this infinite supply, you have to remember the divinity that is within you. Again, that does not mean that men can't tap into this. Men are being asked the same to do the same thing because you too have an inner child, and that inner child is innocent. That inner child is the one who was hurt, right? And so it's really important to recall your own divinity and your own strength and power to create. When I see the second card here that I showed you the word for, that is a creative energy. So when we experience this, then that is actually creation in itself, that energy. That's why there is this energy coming from that area in this woman, right? And just the same in this card, there is the moon um, is being held up by this feminine energy, and the wind is blowing over this protection, this love. And this is kind of what is coming through, is that you are divinely inspired and protected by your own creative life force energy, but you have to recognize um, that within yourself. You have to recognize your own divinity and your own capacity to be that creator, and to even harness this energy, right? And to protect it. The bear here, the bear represents protection. And so I'm really picking up strongly that it's up to you to not only tap into your ability to create, to be a creator, but to also tap into the energy that is your life force energy, which is centered in your sacral chakra, and which is your creative life force energy as well. It's not just your SEXUAL. I have to think about that for a second. Energy. I don't normally spell that word out. But it's also your creative life force energy. And this is what you're being asked to tap into, is the connection between yourself, divinity, and this energy, and protect it fiercely. Protect that energy by not allowing anybody into your life ever again. This is the biggest message, is that you're in control from now on of who gets to come into your life. And so you get to decide if you're going to allow someone who may hurt you in the same ways that other people have, or allow specific mindsets that you that were created within you because of your past experiences to harm you and keep you from hoping and having faith and tapping into your potential, to allow those things or not. And it's really up to you to decide, right? And so you don't ever have to live that life again, is what they're saying. Sedna is really coming through to say, like, you have all of the tools, the resources, the infinite supply already within you, and you don't have to worry about the future, because so long as you are protecting this SEXUAL energy, your creative life force energy, and not allowing just anybody to have access to those things, or to you, or to your time, creating boundaries with people who you have identified may cause you some sort of harm, or who are unhealed, who have not taken this path or this journey, not allowing those people into your life to begin with, you already have the power to discern that. You already have the ability to recognize your own patterns that are creating this upheaval in your life. And so you just need to now focus on protecting your divinity, protecting your sacred feminine energy, whether you are a man or a woman, it does not matter, or you identify as that, it does not matter. We all have this energy within us, and it's your job to now understand that nothing can hurt you, kind of like what we were channeling before. Nothing can hurt you unless you allow it in, or you allow it to. So whether you're hurting yourself mentally or emotionally by staying stuck in old ruts and patterns and beliefs and thoughts or emotions, or whether you're allowing somebody into your life who's going to show you that, there's no need for that anymore. And so the chance and the chance to remove that block is here right now, to remove the blocks from your lack of understanding that that's no longer an issue, and you can hope now, and you can create, that you have this capacity within you to do so. But it requires you to move past these blocks, to really understand that it's within your own hands. So we've got the C's of Mantaka, seeing potential, bringing unconscious to light. Yeah. So it's really I'm getting strongly here that for many of you in the collective, this is subconscious patternings and beliefs and operating systems. So you might have already eliminated people or situations or things that were disrupting your peace, but now it's a matter of the internal struggle. And if that doesn't resonate for you, then don't take that part of the story and make it fit. But for those of you that I'm channeling this for specifically, this may be an internal aspect of yourself that you're allowing to block you and block your creative and divine, sacred, feminine aspects of you, which allow you to create this infinite supply, and to trust it, and to have hope for it, and to believe in it. That it's really about believing in yourself. And so you may need to bring these things out of the unconscious and bring them to light so that you could recognize your own patterns, your own behaviors. And that requires a little analysis. It requires a little digging and a little perspective, maybe writing it down, like how did I end up from here to here in this situation? Maybe the last time that you struggled with whatever this is, how did it play out? And where did it start? And where did I end up? And write it detailed to see how the pattern goes from one stage to another to the end. And that will help you to identify the trigger points and identify how you can slip really far down into a certain pattern, um, and how that can lead to other parts of you slipping into even deeper parts of that unconsciousness, right? So seeing that you have the potential to change this, to really hold all of this abundance in your arms and to easily create it, you have to see your own potential, and you have to protect your potential. And that means by protecting your peace, protecting yourself. Sometimes you need to protect yourself from yourself, right? If some of these beliefs or ways of being are really difficult for you to change, they're challenging. Sometimes, it's ourselves that we need protection from until we've identified the issue and can heal it. So, thank you, Sedna. All right. Okay, let's go to Vesta. Which deck would you like me to pull from Vesta? Moonology, okay. Okay, what message would you like to impart on the collective today, Vesta? Let me know in the comments too if you would rather me just share the whole 2 hour video all at once so you can decide when you want to cut it off and come back to it. Or if you don't mind it coming out in 2 parts, let me know what your thoughts are on that. I might change this format. 2 hours can be a lot of time for those of you who are really, really busy in your lives, in your personal lives. Maybe you have small children. So I get that. It's a commitment, right? But the purpose of my channel is not to just, harbor on old past emotions and things like that. It's to actually help you to identify the issues, identify the work that needs to be done to elevate you spiritually, emotionally, mentally, financially. My purpose here is to really help you and be a guide to those aspects of yourself that really are blocked or needing to figure out new ways of, getting around it. It's not to say that those things won't come up in readings sometimes, but I don't know. I'm more spiritually focused than past focused, and sometimes the past does come up. That's just the way it is. So sometimes there will be readings that focus on the T, or maybe relationship readings in the future. I'm not sure. But mostly I'm aligned with the spiritual path and helping you to get in alignment fully for yourself so you can robustly enjoy your life. Are there any cards here? I thought you said this deck here, Vesta. Hearing top one. Okay. That's funny. We just got this card recently. Okay, so if you watched the last reading, you know, new beginnings. Um, we're gonna get a little more clarity on this one. I'm going to flip Vesta here. Same coloring though in the cards, so cool. And I'm getting a different vibe from this altogether today, so cool. Awesome. All right, and what other cards would you like me to pull from? So I should clean up my space a little bit as I go along. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, oh, there's two cards here. Okay. Do you want me to get one more? Okay. All right, it's our favorite friend, decisions and fear, control. Okay, we'll get to that one last because that feels very separate from this at the moment. So I've got Radiant Goddess, acceptance. You're an amazing goddess, ready to fully understand how significant you are. Tap into your power by owning your own beauty and potential by not making any apologies for it. Mm, yeah, power. Creativity, discovery. One of the ways the divine wants to connect with you is through creative expression. It gets you out of your busy mind to feel, listen, and know how best to flow the energy through you. You're being called to tap into your creative side to reconnect and discover many talents. Be open to the process and let it flow without judging yourself. Okay, so first things first, let's address the elephant in the room here. We've got your household situation is improving either through a move or a healthy change in the occupants. Okay, so some of you, I am getting strongly here with this new beginnings card that you are going to experience some sort of change in your home environment. Now, that does not necessarily mean that you are moving. Maybe somebody is moving out. Maybe somebody is finally moving, or maybe the dynamics between your children and you are changing, or um, it's going to be a healthy change. Okay, just so don't freak out about that if that triggered you in any way, shape, or form, because that part may not even resonate with you or may not be part of your story. So maybe your adult children are moving out and going to school or something like that. But this can also broadly apply to just the way that you are keeping your home. Maybe you've figured out a new routine or a new system or a new, maybe you've decluttered, or maybe you need to in order to create the space mentally that you require for your new beginnings to come in. But for a lot of you, I am getting that there is something to do with your stability in your home that may be changing for you. And this new beginning is going to create a sense of wonder, is what I just heard. A sense of wonder and awe and joy, kind of like you did as a child. You know, and I see these two children here and creativity, and they're playing with clay, which is fun. That's actually something that I was considering doing that I would like to do is learn the clay wheel, which is challenging, but I've wanted to do that for a very long time. Anyhow, I digress. So there is some sort of new beginning coming in for you, and Vesta really wants to share this with you, but she wants you to know that whatever changes are coming in, no matter how that feels, because decision and fear and control is coming in here, it's requiring you to let go of something. Again, we tapped into that energy in the very beginning while I was channeling these goddesses, these beautiful goddesses. But there is a decision to let go of something, and it's causing fear because you're fearful that it's going to affect your stability. And Vesta's coming through to say, no, it's actually quite the opposite. Your mind is casting illusions based on old frameworks of how you used to work and operate in the 3D world around you. But things are changing. You are upgrading, you are healing, you are doing everything that you need to do in order to align with a better future and the 5D. And so she's coming through to say, like, this is just um, old patterns of, it could be even codependency, it could be reliance, it could be control, it could be just a fear of the unknown. And she's saying, like, this is an illusion. Whatever it is that's creating instability in your physical life at this time, whether it's in your home or whether it's materially or it's something to do with your root chakra and your stability, right? So, whatever it is that is creating this fear and creating the need to control it, that is the illusion, and you're being asked to really let it go and trust and have faith because and have acceptance that once you do let this go and without regret, that's the biggest thing I just heard, without regret, then this new beginning is ready to come in. But again, it's gonna require you making a choice as to whether you're going to choose fear or you're going to choose love. And what is self-loving to you is this acceptance, is to bring love into the situation, is to understand both sides, I heard. So, how are your decisions affecting the other person, whether you're aware of it or not? Or how are your decisions affecting your children or your family or your friends? How are your decisions affecting your future self? How are your decisions affecting your inner child? Are you turning against yourself to choose fear instead of faith? That's the biggest thing they just said. Um, are you turning against yourself? Are you self-sabotaging in order to choose fear instead of faith? And if so, if that is the case, then accepting that and healing it with love, and also through your ability to channel those emotions through your creativity, which allows you to get into the flow. Because I just heard this fear keeps you like blocks your new beginning. You're putting up blocks. Every time you feel that fear, you're saying to the universe, no, I changed my mind. I don't trust that. I don't believe that. I don't want that. And so they're saying, like, you can channel this fear and choose love and faith instead, and choose yourself. And you can channel that energy that used to create fear or the need to control or anger or whatever it is into something creative, which allows you to be in that flow state, which is a receptive state. And you need to be in that receptive state to allow your new beginnings to come in. And that's probably one of the reasons also why we're tapping into this feminine energy, is that we need to be, as a collective, in this receptive state, not in fear and not in lack, but in receptivity. And so getting into some sort of creation, whether that is a hands-on project or making a puzzle or singing or something artistic that you can channel this fear into every time it pops up, take that emotion and say, you know what, I'm going to invest this emotion and channel it into something constructive and creative for myself so that I can still express that emotion and allow it, right? But it's going to be still putting me into a receptive mode where I can receive my new beginnings. And I can heal this by retraining myself to discover new parts of myself through the process of my own creativity. All right. Thank you, Vesta, for that beautiful message. That's exciting. New beginnings. Okay. And actually, before we continue to the next card, I just heard, do you choose stability for yourself? Because the power is truly in your hands. That's what Sedna was sharing with your creative energy, with your life force energy, to to really accept that you are the goddess or god of your own life. So, do you choose stability for yourself? Do you choose to allow old ways of being or the old versions of yourself or the old paradigms and dynamics? Or do you choose instead stability? Anything that is encroaching on that stability, that is negatively impacting you, is a choice to continue to go down that route. Or you can choose differently to go down a different route that allows for stability to be created in your life. So, all right.